The creative conscious is the fundamental aspect of your being that allows you to manifest a higher reality within your own unity. Your mind is always thinking and therefore always creating, whether it is for bad, complacent, or higher purposes. Our conscious mind is always attaching itself to information of its provenance of life and using constantly evolving and new insight to create what is you on a day-to-day basis. It is through your thoughts that you purely and truly become who you are as they mold themselves in the mind and are formed out into reality by the creative conscious to manifest in some way inside your external reality, whether that be through actions, feelings, etc. Therefore, it is important to understand the power of conscious creation and how it can be used to create a higher reality within yourself's own unity. One way to start understanding the power of conscious creation is to simply recognize that all living things hold the power of creative consciousness, even the mother ant consciously manifesting and creating the non-existent but soon-to-come realities of her baby ants. Another way to realize this is to comprehend and fine-tune a pure truth of what is consciously created to the highest extent of your human living reality, and literally see how it can help build all that you can create for higher purposes towards all things your conscious will ever cross. By this, I mean look at everything your consciousness is surrounded by and connected to, what it can be created for in a higher sense. Listen to all and use your power of conscious creation through conscious choice to mold off of the comprehensible teachings you get from interacting with all. Do this to purely manifest what higher learning you know and think of all into the literal of your own unity. Realize conscious creation is deeply found inside the literal connection of all of your own unity's conscious existence. The deeper you enter the thought flow of trying to understand your creative conscious, the easier it will be to dissect your new realizations of life, and in that dissection, use the deeper insights of information you find to create a higher, pure manifestation of your reality and your own unity. See that this is important to comprehend because truly the layers of what the conscious creates continue deeply. You see these deeper layers more when you realize the knowings of how the subconscious can even affect the conscious, and that the concept of subconscious creation that abides inside the always aware mind links on and builds on you to manifest a reality into the conscious mind's mental environment for the conscious mind to create different perspectives and concepts of life to come to the light into a form in external reality. For example, if one watches a specific TV show constantly through time, they might have concepts of the show that are or aren't true sit in their subconscious, and in this happening, when they are conscious in real life, they might take reference from the show subconsciously to consciously create their thoughts and actions of how to approach concepts in real life. In this, they are consciously creating a mold of themselves mentally in their own unity that may or may not be true for the highest purpose of their own unity. In this, you see, if you're not purely and truly aware fully of the external and mental environment the conscious sits in, then you truly leave room for a conscious evolution of lower or nothing at all to infect the literal mind. Have a true conscious awareness of the conscious in whole. Recognize how deep the power of conscious creation goes in truth, and create for higher within your own unity. Conscious creation is constant and extremely sensitive within your own unity. It is important to be aware of this truth and give attention to exactly what type of life your conscious mind is forming for your 100-year-old self inside your own unity's reality. For a betterment of conscious creation towards its highest truth, you must guide the conscious mind away from any link of confusion and towards pure thoughts, for the purest thoughts towards all of existence show all that is existing in the highest and most honest matter. One must understand this to grow their existence through all time. Do this truly so that you don't consciously create different types of devolving manifested life form replicas of and in your life that aren't truly supposed to be of your own unity. The creative conscious that lies within you constantly loves the long term of everything it is choosing to be seated with. It listens, observes, values, and evolves the long term of all reality it sits with. You begin to see this, your baby years, when you truly sit your baby mind in the environment you are in and make up mentally how you should grow self in it for the longest term. In the same matter, but as different as the other humans around your baby self at the time. All conscious thought should bring essential value to your creation of all that becomes of you, and all in essence. This is how your thoughts truly become of you, through your every type of realization formed to the truth of your own unity, consciously creating your own unity. And I say become of you as in the thoughts molding themselves in the mind and is formed out into reality by the creative conscious to manifest in some way inside your external reality in your own unity. It becomes of you in knowing this step by step. You now consciously know more of what became and becomes of you truly throughout your lifetime. This is why I say to sit in the conscious of higher instead of the lowers of the worldly, for more of what is heavenly can truly become of your own unity and lifetime. Do this while living in the creative conscious, you will understand how to purely manifest closer the outer worldly realities into connecting to the literal of your own unity, as Jesus displayed purely and truly in his human walkings. The power of conscious creation blessed to us by God comes in with the concept of deep and extraordinary attraction of entities to contribute with the evolution of your own unity in God. The power of conscious creation is a concept that has been explored throughout history, and it is one that can have a profound impact on our lives. Expand on these concepts with self, pass yourself, and explore how conscious creation can lead to a life of purity beyond imagination. At the end of our lives, in the deepest sense, we become what we have formed through every single realization we have ever had. This means that our thoughts and actions shaped our reality, and the more conscious we are of this fact, the more control we have over the direction of our lives purely. When you abide consciously in the thought flow of a creative higher, you can intellectually understand the conscious creation for the being of your own unity in an activated time of greater in all the existence of your reality. In the deepest sense, living in the creative conscious state of truthfulness connections will only lead us to a life of purity beyond imagination. By diving into the type of real higher imagination our consciousness holds within itself, we can see new higher realizations of what has always been our own unity's reality. This means that by connecting with the true and pure higher thought flows of your creative consciousness, you can unlock new levels of understanding and awareness that you may not have been aware of before. As we embrace the compelling control of the elevation or devolvement of our lives to form us, we begin to realize that different types of vibrational feelings in our own unity can easily and immediately begin to intertwine with our creative consciousness. This can literally implant some type of internal affect that will slowly but surely manifest into our external conscious view of reality. By choosing to stay in higher vibrations, we can consciously create a higher reality in the long term. For example, the power of conscious creation is simultaneous and constantly evolving. We can consciously mold the idea of ourselves for an evolvement of angelic resignation or demonic confusion. It would all be our choice of how we want to use our conscious to create our lives at every second. And we can choose to mold our evolvement for higher learning to marry the creative consciousness for higher within all, not only blesses our own unity with better judgment in our actions, but also grants us the ability to see how our conscious creation towards all could form out to be now and forever. By understanding the power of conscious creation, we can remold our ideas of ourselves for a uniquely continuous evolution of the mind and the purest truth. The transcendent power of creating real connections to form that don't even exist yet is the manifestation of the divine power that lies inside creative consciousness. For example, if you are hungry and you want a meal, your mind consciously makes link towards how to form a meal and have it in some way be created in front of you to feed your hunger. Truly see that in a higher matter of consciously living, by consciously creating in every literal facet of our soul's life, you can consciously grow your own unity purely in all that is. This means that we can consciously create pure living in spaces of entities that we want to sit in while living inside the creation of life to mold our reality. Through the creative conscious will show us the transcendent power of creating real connections to form that don't even exist yet. By understanding this, we can create forms of manifested reality for higher that link in the growth of life in pure truth. The Virgin Mary is an excellent example of someone who understood the transcendent power of creative consciousness, especially in the helping God through showing the birth of Christ. When a mother gives birth, she sees the better makeup that must be for the future and consciously connects herself in whatever true links that help her create a better placing for herself and her child that is molding in herself, purely through God and the woman power of conscious creation and birth. She manifested the man body of God himself to be born embryo inside of women and showed women how to purely manifest men into walking real quality existence. And purely through a higher helping of conscious creation into reality, a child is born. This links on to the high matters of how a soul creates life, or is in the highest sense created in life. The self-creation of our day-to-day lives through the creative conscious is the embodiment of all we allow our conscious mind to be purely open to intertwining with at all levels of presence.